How's it going, folks? Brian Blessing in Las Vegas here, bangthebook.com. And here we go, Gatling gun style through the NFL, Week 4. Let's get you an early look at the lines and where we think the numbers are going to go. Let's start with this weekend's game, Miami and New England. New England's a 7-point favorite, total's 47.5. Everybody's like, what's wrong with the Patriots? Well, we'll see if Josh Gordon helps the cause. Bottom line is, when they struggled in the past, they do flip the switch. At some point, Brady's going to become archaic, but it's not yet. Patricia knew what was going on with that offense. Give the Lions full marks. And listen, Miami off to a great start. Can they sustain it? That's the question. Total on the game is 47.5. Houston and Indianapolis. Indy's a 1.5 point favorite. Listen, Bill O'Brien's got to be on the hot seat because Watson it's not his fault. In this offensive line, they're just not getting it done. They don't have a running game. J.J. Watt started to play better last week, but they got beat by the Giants. A horrific start by the Texans, looking to right the ship. And Andrew Luck looks like maybe close to the Andrew Luck of old. He's hanging in there. And Indy could be a factor at some point in the division this year. Let's go to Cincy and Atlanta. We got to watch A.J. Green's status in this game. Atlanta, 5.5, 6-point favorites. Total in the game is 51. Bottom line is Atlanta, New Orleans. It's the new Pittsburgh-Baltimore rivalry. Whoever has the ball last wins. Atlanta kind of let that one get away, but they've got Ridley now. Red zone weapons, something other than Julio Jones. I think Atlanta's going to be pretty salty here the rest of the way. Let's go to Buffalo, Green Bay. Green Bay, 10-point favorite, total 45. Buffalo, 16.5-point dog, win outright. Vontae Davis quitting on the team was the best thing ever happened to them. And Josh Allen has looked really good. And since the second half of the Chargers game, the Bills have played good. You got Rodgers running around on one leg and talk about an overreaction. 16.5 last week. Now it's down to 10. But Green Bay coming off a loss could be in ill humor. Detroit and Dallas. Dallas, 3-point favorite, totals 44. Dallas cannot score in the red zone. Unless Elliott runs the ball in, they just can't punch it in. That's the rub here. Stafford had a shot to win the game against San Fran, didn't, but he got it done against the Patriots. Pretty intriguing game here. Jets, Jacksonville. That was the under of our lifetime. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Jags, 7.5-point favorites. Jets going on the road. Young quarterback against that defense. Totals 38. Let's go to Philly and Tennessee. Philly, 3.5 on the road with Wentz back. Got the rust off a little bit. Survived in the game against Indy. Tennessee, you're just Mariota may come back and be more of a factor this week. Jai should be back too. The total on the game, pretty deflated even with Philly. They got to get Alshon Jeffrey back in the lineup. Total's 41.5. Seattle and Arizona. Seattle gets the win at home opener. Now they go right back on the road against Arizona, who was more competitive last week. Total here is 38. People want to write off Seattle. You got Russell Wilson. You have a shot every game. Josh Rosen likely going to be the man here this week. Cleveland and Oakland. The Baker Mayfield era begins here, and they got a great defense. But he's going on the road into a very hostile environment. Raiders fans are going to be in ill humor. Gruden's got to get a W. This number's 2.5. I think it's going to go to 3. I think the Raiders could be the side here. Total in the game is 44.5, 45. San Francisco, my goodness, Garoppolo goes down. These non-contact injuries are just atrocious. The Chargers, 10-point favorites here. Totals 47.5. Beathard likely the quarterback. This is a game probably the Chargers do very well in. They just never seem to kick the door down. Tons of potential, but the Chargers are a frustrating team. New Orleans and the Giants. Saints 3.5 on the road against the Giants. Total in the game is 50. Manning, Barkley, Beckham. Get that offense going. But this defense better step up to the plate. Breeze is back to what he was. Till they get Ingram back, it's New Orleans slinging it all over the field. Baltimore, Pittsburgh. It's the easiest number you ever make. Pittsburgh a 3-point favorite at home. Pittsburgh can score, but the bottom line is they can't stop anybody. And then Kansas City and Denver. KC, 4.5-point favorite. Total in the game is 55.5. This Kansas City offense is something special. Von Miller is going to have to get in Mahomes' face early and often in this game. We're still trying to sort out who these teams are, a lot of them. in week 4 of the NFL because of the quirky preseason, but it's starting to pick up some tempo. Injuries become a concern. What happens with Rodgers? Playing around on one leg. They need him. He's got to stay upright. A lot of guys you're watching, the injury to Garoppolo is pretty sad for the Niners and their chances. So always big developments week in, week out. Follow me on Twitter at Brian Blessing. Listen to the Sports Betting Podcast with our good friend Adam Burke, and follow along right here on Twitter at Bang the Book.